And literally my nightmares are coming true. Yay! I look like the people in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when they're going into the TV room or whatever. That's what I feel like anyway. Hello you guys! Guess what? It's time for another episode of Fever Watch. And on today's episode, well, in case you hadn't already heard, not only is Ebola coming, it's here. Authorities are trying very hard to downplay the fact that for the first time in history, someone from West Africa hopped on a plane, came to the United States, ran around a bit, went to the hospital, was discharged, went home, still sick, back to the hospital, where he was diagnosed with Ebola. This is huge, you guys, this is huge. Never before has this happened. Although, if you recall, I made somewhat of a prediction a few months ago that it was only a matter of time before this happened, and it's happened. Not that it makes me feel any better. In fact, I can hardly sleep at night knowing that Ebola is now in town. Ebola in town. Once someone enters the contagious stage of the virus, the only way it can be transmitted to other people is through direct contact with infected bodily fluids. When you have Ebola, you're losing a lot of bodily fluids very fast. And by bodily fluids, I'm including blood, sweat, tears, feces, urine, vomit. Pretty much anything that can come out of your body is infected when you have Ebola. And all it takes is for someone else to touch something that an infected person has touched, and then to touch some mucous membrane of themselves, and there you go, you're infected with Ebola. Now then, we deal with viruses every day. The common cold is caused by a virus. Influenza is a virus. You know how easily those things are spread. Ebola is spread just as easily. It is not known at this time to be spread through aerosols, which is just like what's expelled when you sneeze or you breathe. But one huge thing you have to keep in mind is the fact that Ebola was only discovered about 40 years ago, and up until now, we've never had a case in the United States. Therefore, there hasn't been a lot of research done on the virus. So even though authorities play it off like they know exactly what's going on and how to deal with it and how to prevent its spread, that's a lie. Not enough research has been done. Nobody really knows. Not that I know anything more than they do, I just know that they don't know as much as they want you to believe they do. Ebola has officially made its way over here once from Africa, and it's only a matter of time before it happens again, and again, and again. You know why? Yes, African officials are trying to prevent this from happening, but they're doing that by relying on the honesty of infected people. Tell me something! If you're in Africa and you get exposed to Ebola, and you know if you say that you've been exposed to Ebola, they're not going to let you get on a plane to come home, are you going to tell anybody that you were exposed to Ebola? If you're an honest person, you will, because you don't want to spread the disease all around the world. But most people act in their own self-interest. This is shocking, isn't it? Hard to believe that people would lie in order to save themselves. I've never heard of such a thing. No need to panic though, Ebola is coming. And what can we do to protect ourselves? Well, that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you how to make a do-it-yourself hazmat suit. Don't touch your friends. Here's what you're going to need for your homemade hazmat suit. All of these things I found either at Walmart or at Home Depot. All very accessible. Nothing was very expensive. First things first. This is a painting suit. Splash-resistant suit to be worn for painting and pesticide spraying, blah blah blah. It's somewhat waterproof. Granted, it says to use this for non-hazardous particulates and splashes, but this is all I got. And it's a hell of a lot better than nothing. Just gotta put it on. Apparently these things only come in sizes extra large and 2XL, because small people aren't capable of doing work. This ought to be big enough for me. I've always wanted my own hazmat suit. I thought this was a perfectly appropriate time to figure out how to make one. Now then, I feel like it would be a good idea to perhaps use one of these, a hot or cold compress, because you're going to be cooped up in this suit in a high stress situation, and you don't want your body to overheat, because then you're more likely to go mad, rip it off, and get Ebola. So, take a cold pack, take a belt on the inside of your suit, and fasten this cold pack to your lower back or your belly or something, just for a little added comfort. Yes, that's quite nice. Zip it up. It's probably a good idea to remove any sort of jewelry or anything that could at any time puncture your suit. You want to maintain as much of a closed environment for yourself as you possibly can. This is absolutely ridiculous. Can you see this? The crotch comes down to my knees. But it's okay. I really don't want to get Ebola. Another thing to keep in mind, don't be ashamed. You might want to consider some sort of adult diaper. Because let me tell you, once you get in this suit, you're not allowed to get out of it until it's properly decontaminated. And there's no way in hell you're ever going to want to use a public restroom again. Because a lot of bodily fluids are deposited in restrooms, and public restrooms are most likely going to be crawling with Ebola. Next, you're going to want proper footwear. Wellies. Put them on. Just to be safe, go ahead and tape the ankle of your suit to your welly, because this way your suit is complete. Alright, now we're going to work on our face protection. As I mentioned before, authorities are saying that Ebola cannot be spread through aerosols. But as I also said before, I don't believe them. That's not a risk I'm willing to take. This is a sanding and fiberglass respirator. It's going to be hot as hell. And it's not guaranteed to keep the Ebola out, but once again, it's better than nothing. I'm going to put this on that so that I can continue talking to you. You're going to want some goggles. These are left over from one of my labs. You want them to fit tight, to be as tight as they can on your face to keep anything out. And if they've got any breathing holes, close them off. It's better that your eyes dry out than for you to get Ebola particles into your eyeballs and then get Ebola. So theoretically, you're going to put your mask on, right? However, your mask is obviously not waterproof. And if someone comes up and throws up in your face, this mask is not going to protect you. This only protects you from aerosols. They make face shields, which I cannot find commercially available at this point. So, I've made my own face shield. It's quite simple, really. You take a 2-litre Coke bottle or whatever, and you cut the bottom off, and you cut the screw top off, like this. And then what you do, you get some of your duct tape, which you're using a lot of today. This fits over your goggles just like this. Yeah, I made this up, you guys. And the way it sort of curves around down here, it makes it an even smaller space for things to get up in your face. So just take this to your goggles somehow. I don't actually know what I'm doing. It's probably taped to my hair now. Yeah, it's okay. Boom! You've got your respirator on, theoretically. Pull up your hood. Ow! And lastly, you're going to want hand protection. Your hands touch a lot of things, obviously. You need them to be protected. I would recommend actually wearing 2 sets of gloves. These are regular nitrile gloves. Underneath. Go ahead and pull your sleeves up over them as far as they'll go. And then these are regular kitchen gloves for washing dishes. I'm going to pull those on. If you're actually going to go out in your Ebola suit, I would recommend taking a buddy. That way you can keep an eye on each other, and if you notice a breach in the other suit, you can tell them ASAP. Because that's something that you need to tend to immediately. Also, if you have any open wounds, go ahead and bandage them before you put this ridiculous stuff on. to your suit. Oh, I can't see anything. There you have it, you guys. Put this on. There's your homemade hazmat suit. You're ready to not get Ebola now. Maybe. After you've gone out and done your grocery shopping and been around the public and you need to disinfect yourself before you take any of this off, make yourself some 10% bleach spray. Spray yourself down, stand outside, let it kill all of the Ebola for a while, and then slowly start taking it off. Also, don't leave your wallet in your pocket if you have to go to the store. Have some sort of external pouch that you can disinfect. Keep your credit card in it, don't use cash. Cash is gross. It can carry Ebola maybe. Theoretically, this suit will allow you to go out in public without being quite as terrified about contracting Ebola. No guarantees though, I literally made all of this shit up. But if I ever needed to use it, I'd totally do it because, you know, it's better than nothing. And I really don't want to get Ebola. And I don't want you to get Ebola either. Ignorance is bliss, but knowledge is power. And if there is an outbreak here in the United States, it's going to be up to us as citizens to curb the spread because health officials don't really know how to handle such an outbreak. I did a vlog on Ebola referring to the hot zone a few weeks ago. This is an excellent book. It's still very applicable. I still highly recommend you read it, just so you know about the Ebola. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Fever Watch. I hope you found it quite informative. Please subscribe to my channel. I will probably be giving more Ebola updates in the future. Until never time, which may very well be never time. Hopefully I'll see you all next week. Even if you're not trying to prevent yourself from getting Ebola, this setup will also make it safe for you to make meth and to probably clean up a murder. It's hot in this suit and I get hot just thinking about the fact that Ebola is here. Very hot. That is all.